We're having an awesome session today where we'll be talking a lot about Web 3.0 and blockchain. So, firstly, I'll just introduce myself and I'll introduce the speaker, who's Sandeep, and then I'll just tell you a little bit about the topic, and then we can get started with the call. So, I'm Akhil, I'm the founder at Worldtech, and Worldtech is a product development company, and we have our own two products, Dominate and Remote Teams. And this channel is about latest cutting edge technologies. So you've already been following this channel. You know that I make a lot of content around Golang, React, Next.js, Flutter, and just tech in general. So I've also been covering a lot of Web 3.0 videos recently and AWS serverless recently. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to this channel right now. Now about Sandeep. Sandeep is a very famous YouTuber. He's a consultant and he consults clients across the globe. He has more than 15,000 subscribers and he's been doing this since 4 to 5 years now. And he's an expert DevOps specialist. So I also watch a lot of his videos whenever I have any doubts. So he's working with the latest cutting edge technologies. And he's also quite active on LinkedIn. So you can follow him on LinkedIn, follow him on YouTube. And he puts out content almost on a daily basis. And his content is really great. So if you're interested in DevOps, he's the guy you should follow. He's the guy you should learn from. Now, I'll just give you a small introduction about this topic. So in today's session, I was able to invite, like you can see, Sandeep over here, who's really busy since he's working on quite a few projects simultaneously from across the globe. And at the same time, he recently had a daughter. So we can safely say that he's super busy these days. So thank you, Sandeep, for taking out some time and super congrats for having a baby.
Thank you, Akhil.
And so what we want to discuss today is basically Web 3.0 and how it's going to affect people in tech, mostly developers like me and DevOps engineers like Sandeep and everybody else who's watching the channel. So we'll talk about the new technologies coming in and how you can prepare for them, how things will be affected. And also Sandeep will share some really valuable information about DevOps in the Web 3.0 era and how things are going to change soon. So firstly, before we start with anything, I'll just give you a very basics touchdown of Web 3.0 in case a lot of people who are watching don't really know what Web 3.0 is. So this is a quick introduction for Web 3.0 for the non-initiated people. So basically, Web 3.0 is that everything will be decentralized, and there won't be any central bodies or companies, and there will be only decentralized organizations which will be owned by the people. And also everybody will own their own data. So this means that, let's say right now we have central companies like Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Google, we have Quora, we have Pinterest, these kind of central companies that own their own data. And even if you use these applications, you have to go there and you have to put your data there, but they're going to own and mine out insights and then going to show you ads from the data, right? But with the Web 3.0 world, you as the owner become the king. You as the user become the king, and you will own all of your data, mostly in terms of NFTs. So you'll have your own unique NFTs that you will own, and you can go between multiple of these different Web 3.0 applications, which are powered by blockchain, but you will always own your own data. So all of these applications that will come up as part of Web 3.0, which will be decentralized, will be called as dApps or decentralized applications. And all companies that are building their own metaverses now are basically building them on top of blockchain technology, like they're deploying their own Hyperledger Fabric instances or whatever. And so Web 3.0 is basically going to be an internet of blockchain. So different blockchain applications, like let's say metaverses, and you as a user can go between these different blockchain applications, and that's basically Web 3.0. So that's the basics I wanted to give out before so people who don't know anything about it. So now let's discuss about where is the market headed. So a lot of Sandeep's, a lot of engineers keep asking Sandeep, where is the market headed? What should I learn? What will be the future now? So that's what basically I want Sandeep to take the center stage and explain to us where is everything headed with Web 3.0.
Definitely. Thank you. So in Web3, there are a lot of technology involved. I will start with the Web3 Js because the JavaScript actually, any engineer start with the basics, like basic JavaScript they should learn and they are learning. And so Web3 Js is there. And there is another, you can say, a very new technology coming, that is WebAssembly. Now, what is WebAssembly? That the first thing, like, is it assembly language that we learn in our engineering? Quite not that, but quite similar. So the main philosophy here in the WebAssembly, you write in any programming language, then you compile that in a WebAssembly, and then you can run that particular logic inside your browser. So that created a revolution, which is now getting utilized in many places, including blockchain and decentralized apps. Now,
for example, like Solidity, we can use Solidity inside the browser.
Exactly. Yes. You got it right. And not just Solidity. If you even write any say C++ application, you write any Go application, whatever. I will come to Go with more because that's the specialty here. So anyway, any programming language that is supporting WebAssembly, you like make the logic there, program there, and you convert to the WebAssembly and run in the browser. And that's awesome. Like it's kind of very portable thing. Now that is the reason many you can say blockchain companies, which are maybe financial companies, maybe say travel companies, maybe digital asset management companies, they're all using the WebAssembly along with other programming languages. Now, so two skills: JavaScript, Web3 JS, and Web3 JS you can use Ethereum. I think there is Ethereum JS also you can integrate. Now, these are the things you might other people not know, but keep a note. So whoever watching, I will ask them to keep a note of everything so that it's your task that you go and explore more. Now, the Web3 JS, there is Ethereum JS, and there is WebAssembly. Now, what additional programming languages? Now, the one of the most you can say popular languages for in the you can say in the blockchain world, or you can say in the development world in general, also Go language. Why? Because Go language let you it can allow you to run concurrent processes. It is actually designed to utilize the CPU to the maximum level with efficiency. There's a reason. There's a reason because what happened in non-standard language or maybe any good language also doesn't support multi-threading. It just runs single application or single thread, which is not utilizing the entire CPU or the resources. So, but in Go, you can like utilize all the resources, specifically CPU, all the CPU process powering, and utilize in your application computation. Maybe in cryptocurrency, I think most of the say processing goes to the crypto generation and the token generation and decrypting, right? So all that you can utilize using Go. And another important thing about Go programming in specific to this kind of developments is the binary size. So it's very lightweight. You generate one binary, and it's very light. Okay, and that you can utilize in any machine. So it's single binary that is executable in any machine. That will be useful thing. Now, what are the other technologies? Say I will say one of the most emerging technologies also, and it's actually getting used by almost every company is Docker. Why? Because you develop your logics. Because of course, in maybe blockchain application or maybe other applications also, your logic should not be platform dependent, and because this entire thing around is decentralization. So it must support in whenever platform it go. Now, just for example, I might have just to get started with, I might not have 5 machines in my home. I might have 3 or 4. I can afford 3 or 4 instances in the cloud. So I will start with the cloud in general, and then I will ask people to join my network and share the network with the people. So once they do it, I can reduce my number of machines and add these other nodes, and then they will add others and others. That's how we can create our own blockchain network. That's what essentially happened. It started with 0, one added, they added more people, and everyone now bringing as a blockchain entire network. And all blockchain networks started the same way. But one of the key characters here is the computation and verification, and all at the nodes are the stakeholders. So suppose I'm like demanding something, or I'm claiming something. If suppose it has only one source of truth and if someone destroyed it, so it is easy with me. But when there is many stakeholders, many have the same copy of the same data, you cannot just cut out 1 or 2. It has to be go through, all has to have the approval, then you get the particular asset access or any access. That's the entire, I can say, simplified logic behind all this. Now, for that reason, there is a lot of computation going on, lot of logic going on. Maybe say you are doing a transaction, that pay has to process. Now there come the smart contract. The smart contract had to handle all the payment related things, all the token initiation, everything else. Now that you have to handle, but or what after that? It has to trigger some other function. Now all this logic you can define by any programming language. Specifically, I will say Solidity is one of the most preferred language, be it Ethereum, be it other blockchain frameworks, wherever it is. This is the particular skills that is preferred by everyone. So if anyone starting to think about starting in the blockchain or in general, say Web3, they will start with the Web3 JS, and then I will say try and check out the Solidity, because that's where the actual skill is demanded. And what addition to that, you need to store the data. Previously, how we store data? We store data in the say centralized way, but here is not that factor anymore. You have to store the data in the nodes that are distributed right now. And of course, that if you store all the data in single place, cost is huge. But now you're sharing the data and storing this amount of data in other, like the data references in other machines. Now the cost also getting reduced. So these are the things you have to understand how the data getting stored in all the machine. There are a lot of solutions. I will just not name one because there is no one is there. A lot of tools available. One can explore and get a lot of solutions here. So that they can utilize and make use of this kind of distributed data structure, data storage. Now these are the skills that is required. The programming, again, you can go JavaScript, you can go with the Solidity, you can use the assembly, WebAssembly, and you can get other programming like say Go or maybe even Python also they can use if they wanted to. So these are the skills one should have if you want to come to the Web3. Like without development skills, you cannot. That is a like you can say in a summary. I can say so. One should first learn the basic concept, like what are the NFTs, like you told, what are the Web3, how the smart contract happen, how the entire flow goes on and on. One has to first understand the basics, and then of course to develop the application, or you call it DApps, right? It now, if you suppose say what is a DApp, just you might like people might heard the word, but they might have a lot of confusion. So simply think about it's an application. Like you have one application, you run an instance. So I have a JavaScript application, it's a Node.js application. I run an instance. But here the DApps are going to run not in an instance, but in many copies, but in a framework, in a blockchain framework, namely Ethereum, because that is the most preferred one. So say we have a virtual machine in Ethereum, and that's going to run in the Ethereum, and that will do the task or the instruction that we program, and part of the our smart contract. So that is the people need to understand in order to learn and like get a job in the Web3 world.
So it makes sense. So I just want to like summarize what you're saying. You're saying that Web3 JS is definitely important. Solidity is definitely important. And if you have skills like Golang and Python, that will also help you a lot because there will be new technologies that will be coming up, which will require these programming knowledges. But the most important thing is the basics, in the sense understanding what blockchain is, understanding how it's distributed, understanding how the consensus algorithms work, understanding the challenges of blockchain. So once you understood the basics, then using any programming language is not a problem. Those are just tools to actually build the system, but you have to understand the basics and how the system actually works. And what Sandeep, so we also need your help to understand, like from a DevOps perspective, where is the market headed, in the sense, Web 3.0, it's very new right now, and people are so somebody who's just started learning, let's say, Ansible, somebody's learning Terraform, Jenkins. Now suddenly he sees that the apps are completely different now. They're all distributed and applications coming up. So he'll get confused. He'll now think that now how do I actually write all these configuration files? Now how do I deploy it? Now how do I manage it? DevOps is completely going to change quite a bit. So if you can tell us, what technologies will be important there? Like you said, Docker is obviously there important. Yes. But anything else that you think will be important? And also, where is the market headed in terms of which will be the higher paying jobs? And how can somebody start preparing for the future, if you can take some time for that?
Definitely. So now one first understand that what are the applications, because if you are a DevOps engineer, you think about what are the application source code you have, how to deploy. That's the first the problem will come to mind. Like I'm doing some coding changes and all, and that need to get effective to all the networks. Now think about you had maybe 100 server. It is easy. You have your 100 server, you know the IPs, and you're going to deploy them. But now it's not the case. There could be thousands and even millions later on, and you have to make a change in the code of logic and have to deploy it on the machines. So it's not that easy. Okay. Now, yes, Docker is very useful tool. You can generate, say, of course, you can generate a binary. Say, you're developing an application, generate the binary, and that binary you can distribute. Similar way, you can have your entire thing encapsulated in a Docker image, and that logic you can distribute. Now, the part here is that has to get deployed a lot of instances, and it's not easy to keep like in Ansible. You have your inventory. Okay. Here you cannot have that because of the privacy concern. You cannot have the direct IPs of the participant. So what you can do, you have to install, or you can say you have to run an agent program in all this situation, because there should be some agent program which will confirm the application, will confirm the authorization, will interact with the main framework. So there has to be some kind of agent which will look for the changes, or the new repository or new changes or the new deployment. That kind of approach you have to go for in the particular to this kind of solution. So what will happen? you will have, say, you have your deployment, could be any target, could be any open source, or could be a storage in, say, in another node in any particular, say, blockchain framework. And once that available there, other you can say other nodes or other participant, their agent will keep checking. If it's available, then try to deploy it. And that could be, you can have your rule set, because it's kind of your own programming. You can set your own rules, how the compilation can happen, how the deployment is going to be. But in general, there is a rolling update going, like rolling updates all there. Here it might not be the rolling one, because you're releasing to all the agent at once. So it will pull the changes, and then that will actually get affected, and it will do updated instruction as we described. Now, what is the rollback? Because some problem might happen, and it happens. Okay, it sometimes happens that you write something and that doesn't work. It happens
Yeah.
in a lot of cases.
Yes.
On those cases, you have to have some provision also how to do the rollback. So this has to be also implemented in your logic while you're deploying application. You need to be, of course, the checking should be there, the authorization, the unit test cases you have to mention in the coding and all. And then if it's all deployed well, it's okay. If something problem happen, you should have a history of the deployments so that it can go back to the previous stable build so that it can run again. So these are the things need to be checked. Now the challenges again is the maintaining all the, you can say, all the nodes and all. But
Exactly.
the core logic here is that it's self-maintained. So you have to and think and program like that itself. You are not going to manage anything manually, because that
Yeah,
will
so
give you
I think
problem.
that's a big confusion that people have. They're thinking that
Exactly.
all these nodes I need to have like an information of what's
Right.
happening on each node and complete monitoring. So like you said, it's all automated. It's built into the blockchain. It's built into how it's functioning automatically, and everything is automated. Yes, so you can.
The problem here is that
Yeah.
managing the blockchain framework by yourself, like, it's complicated, of course.
Yeah.
And managing a managed network, like say you have, AWS blockchain. I think that Amazon have the quantum ledger database, Amazon the managed blockchain, and the blockchain partners that they also have. So, but then again, think like, what was the Web3 again? It was having like no one person or one system should have all the access to themselves. Again, if you're going to Amazon, Google, and all this cloud again, are you not losing that control to them and not the peers again? That's the reason actually Ethereum, co-founder and they developed this Ethereum framework. Similarly, other blockchains are coming, and even there is many like top tech experts say that it's not there yet. It's still in progress. It's not like we have the Web3 ready right now. No, it's
It's not.
developing.
Yeah.
We are trying out figuring out the ways we can improve the, say, the deployments, the change management and all. So it's still in progress. But what is like right now, if you are managing a server and you have the full control over that, it's not going to work like that.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to distribute, and the peer has to take the control. You just have to make the releases as a Devops in your perspective. You are making changes, and that has to be a self complementary or self you can say self assisted. So automatically should go and deployment should happen. That one has to make sure while working in the Devops engineer and working this kind of application. So that should do. Now, for this particular scalability problem, we have one particular solution. Like we don't have, we call it Solana. So if someone want to check it, because right now people who have started, blockchain their own, have seen a big number of problem in the scalability, because maybe not people joining and their computation even so heavier, normal participants are not able to continue. Like you need to keep growing, and you need a lot of processing power. I think minimum 128 GB of the space, and you have at least 64 processor in most cases of these, resources for the blockchain. Now, because of the highly complicated calculation, now if you don't have the more nodes, then you will not able to scale. And for the particular reason, a particular solution is there, which called the Solana, where you can provision nodes, or you can even ask other people and use their their technologies to scale, because they have a big network. So these are the things that can use. But again, always remember there is a gas fee. So I think even people don't know the gas fee, that you are asking other people to join, they're contributing, right? So they are also contributing something. Say they are processing power, of course, their CPU, their RAM. So of course they will want something, right? They will charge
Yeah.
for the particular
Yeah.
processing power for the virtual increase.
So processing free gas fee is going to be there
Exactly.
for everything. Yeah.
Exactly. So always make sure it's your goal to reduce our total cloud cost in general. Like why I'm going for that? Because by definition, it's distributed. And we're not
Yeah.
having any central repository, no central server, nothing. Maybe just for the initial starting point we might have, but when we scale up, we may reduce that. So if this there, then the thing is that is again the ownership and everything is just like we are paying to Google Cloud or paying to Amazon. It's now we are not paying to Amazon or Google Cloud. We are paying the peers who are joining and contributing in the network. That one has to make sure that you have your proper provisions there. Now the payment is also not cash, not check, not anything else. It's the
Let's say coin.
NFTs that will talk
Yeah.
exactly the tokens on NFTs. So that will, let's say you can say the token is a lot of different tokens. In general, maybe say Bitcoin token or say Ethereum token. If it's Ethereum, of course, the Ethereum token they will be accepting, and that
Yeah.
will go to the particular peers. If they have been getting say approval or say exchange and all, they will get it. So these are the things you have to make sure you understand. The deployment part is super complicated. And again, I said it's not one man solution. It's still in progress. Someone might come with some great solution, but at this moment, the agent-based one that I'm trying and so I'm working on that, and there are other emerging solution come. One should explore and keep trying. As I say, no definite solution. You have to find out yourself. That kind of thing. And we can say suggest it that it's still in development. It's still new and still a lot of development going on. Even just at the starting point, even see Amazon, even see all of the big companies also now taking part. They understand the potential of it. That's why they're coming with the managed solution. But always remember, managed solution means you have to pay more. So
Yeah.
that has to be
So,
clear.
so since all of this is so new, like you said, the Web 3.0 is like very, very
Yes,
early and still taking shape, and we are the people who are actually building it. So,
exactly.
do you suggest should people even start in this field? And if yes, what type of people should start in this field? And what are your suggestions for those type of people?
Yes. So say why I'm saying
Yeah.
because Web 1.0, Facebook, you can say Mark Zuckerberg started early, now billionaire.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
the billionaire. See the engineer who started in the company now
Yeah.
also I think at least millionaire, not even I think maybe billionaire also. So
Hmm.
think about that. They started early, they got the experience, they applied that, they have developed application, and now
Hmm.
where they are. And we are at the student or starting up, and
Hmm.
we may not got in that flow. But now
Hmm.
we have the time. It's Web 3.0. It's our time now. As engineers, as DevOps engineer, maybe the application development engineer, you have now opportunity to, you know, to get new opportunities that no one has before.
Exactly.
Those people didn't have the Web 3.0. We have. So now we have the opportunity. We should join, and it's something new, of course. But the money you can see is one engineer minimum gets at least $1 lakh in US
Yeah.
currency these days. You've
Yeah.
seen the offers come. I mean, I've seen just last week itself, I got around 1 lakh 50 offer just for this particular the Go developer plus blockchain solution. You can say plus DevOps mix something. That's why it's a lot of skills needed. I mean, that's the reason why they're offering this high because it's new technology, not many developers, huge demand, and this is the time. Suppose PHP developer right now they are not getting that much money because PHP was very long and there are a lot of developers. So yes, PHP is good language, of course, no doubt. But see, the more the resources they have, the less the demand will be, and the
Yeah.
less
Economy.
the
Yeah.
resources, economy, simple economy. Now
Yeah.
is the economy is toward the Web3. There are not many developers. I think very few, not much. And
Yeah.
now is the time. If we learn also Solidity, we learn Go programming, another program that's compatible with the blockchain and all. We have the chance getting paid better than other engineers, and we are getting paid. See the developers who are working on, they are in a great shape. They are like the fastest startups who are like already got millions and millions of money from Facebook, Google, all the big techs. Like they're indirectly investing into the indirect and directly investing to the particular these companies who are investing their money and time in the apps, this kind of. See, most of the these days you can see the financial blockchain application, the other say government application also developed. Even just as example, my daughter's birth certificates was actually the digital asset in the blockchain. That's awesome, right? That actually again inspired me to do that. So what I would say, it has infinite potential. You will get the benefit of economy, the you can say the demand of economy, and this is the right time because
Yeah.
once this get normalized, you might not get the opportunities like right now. So
Hmm.
this is the right time.
Hmm.
If you're
Hmm.
thinking start now,
So
this is the right time.
basically, there's a lot of incentive for somebody to take the risk right now and put in the time and learn and become a Web 3.0 and blockchain developer, so that they are able to charge more money or become an early
Exactly.
employee in a company that's going to become really big. But once, like let's say 3-4 years from now, everybody will know blockchain programming and Web 3.0 and all of that. Then the value may not be that much. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah. So right now is the right time to get into this, and there have been many waves that have come up in the past, but Web 3.0 seems like, according to many people, seems like the
Yes.
biggest wave, and it is a developer and engineer first economy. In the sense, we'll be the first citizens of blockchain, and so there's a lot of money to be made. So now that you have explained so much about for employees and for developers, what do you think about entrepreneurs who are technology entrepreneurs? What do you think that they should do, and what are your suggestions if somebody wants to make a new company in Web 3.0? So how do you think somebody should approach this?
So they have to first make their own investigation, because again, it's a
Yeah,
new technology, and if you're
yeah,
from non-tech background, it's kind of you have to put too much extra effort to go into. But if you're an engineer, you understand the
mm,
basic concept of say encryption, decryption, all this, the block ledgers and all. You have the better understanding. So this what are going to be the entrepreneurs, the tech entrepreneurs, you
mm,
can say, because non-tech
mm,
people is very tough for them. It's not like they will not. They can, and they can come after learning. But for the tech entrepreneur, it will be easy to come into this field and get the success. And there are, so you can see there is a lot of financial application, lot of say other you can say different say property startups have seen, who actually came to me, and for this kind of they offered me very good money. So there are different kind of usage. As an entrepreneur, you are innovative. So the entrepreneur is a very innovative person. He think different way than the people. So they have to figure out what is in it in me. Okay. Say there is metaverse, okay, and there is NFT tokens getting generated. People are trying to buy the land. See the thing, the person that come with the idea is now the gainer, isn't it? Similarly, just like right now as a Meta, there like Meta is not the blockchain, of course, but they are utilizing the blockchain for the NFT token, say token distribution. Similar way, there is infinite potential. Maybe say the profit sharing. So maybe you want your say you have co-founders and all. Why not share the token and say any profit that happen by that particular, you can say the trust, because you don't know what the company sometime generating the money, and you whatever the other people saying, but now you have the proper visibility how that each transaction going on, because you have immutable ledgers, like what happened in transaction, that will help you have a very transparent view. You can go that way. There are infinite actually application, you can say, that can one can think of. Again, the creativity is the key. Learn over all the basic concept, the smart concept, like just the overview. They are not going to develop in general. They want to hire the engineers, but understand what is a
yeah.
say Ethereum, what is the Web3, what are the impacts going to be the Web3, what are the opportunities you can have. Again,
Mm,
the creative
mm,
people will get the
mm.
honey. That's the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
here.
So you're saying
So
that for an entrepreneur, it's very important to first not maybe think about too much of the technology side, but at least think about
exactly
the big problems, the opportunity it can create, how it can solve problems for many people,
right,
where can be applied, the application of blockchain. Think about that, and think about actual business models that can come out of it, and
exactly,
then
exactly.
probably take help of engineers and all to actually build it.
Yeah,
But
because
if
they're
yeah, if
yeah.
the yeah, sorry, you're saying something.
So yeah, they are not going to develop by themselves. They are going to develop
Yeah,
the team.
yeah.
So get the knowledge first, idea first, and then you hire engineers, qualified engineers
Yeah.
who have the experience and knowledge on that, and then make the product and make profit out of it. That should be the
Yeah.
way.
And if you are a tech entrepreneur, in the sense, if you already have a technology background and programming background, then it'll be very easy for you to get started and hire the right team also. So for everybody, it's very beneficial to actually learn a little bit about the blockchain. So now, Sandeep, like you gave a lot of tips on how to get started as a programmer in with Web 3.0. Like
Mhm.
you can learn Web3 JS, you can learn Ethereum, a little bit of those. How as a DevOps engineer, how does somebody actually start? Looking towards blockchain, how does somebody actually start thinking that, okay, now I want to get into the blockchain field? Any technologies as specifically that you want to mention that will be coming up
Sure.
in the future?
So right now you can say all are in the development phase, to be honest. But there is open source tool available, so one can look for the say Web3 open source DevOps tools, because the most solution you see are all most of us web specific, or you can say cloud specific. Like you have your Ubuntu server running somewhere, and say you are deploying the changes there, or maybe you are building your application there. But that's not the case for the blockchain. It's different. You are developing whatever programming language you have. then that you are deploying to a not instance, now to the some kind of common place where it will be distributed to the people. So yes, here you must have the knowledge of basic Linux, because you're supposed to run, I think most cases, container, because that's going to be a
Yes,
common
yes,
distribution. You can have anything.
that's true. Yeah.
Now, now think about the application programming, like logic flow, how the logic works. Because if you're going to deploy something and you don't know how it
Mm,
works, that's not going to work for you.
mm,
You have to
mm,
understand how this kind of application works. So maybe try to develop one, use Solidarity, use WebAssembly, and with other programming language, and try to run yourself. Use the smart contracts and see how the execution happening, how the data getting stored other places. Those are the
mm,
things one DevOps engineer first understand, and then there are a lot of tools available. I'm not taking the name because every single time is changing. There might be something better
mm.
next time. So one
That's
should
true.
go and explore that way. So basics,
Mm,
again, back to the basics, the basic Linux OS or the OS specific knowledge, then the
mm,
programming knowledge, of course, there is no other alternative, and then how the thing works, how the entire flow works, how the basic you make the code and how it get deployed to other you can say peers and nodes. Those are the things need to be understand and practice. Then only they can get started. That needs to be done.
got it. Got it. And so, like that was like those were the main questions that I had, obviously.
Mm.
And now, just two things if you can share before we end the session. One would be, what do you think will be the challenges when with Web 3.0 in the future going forward? And secondly, any general tips that you have for people wanting to get into Web 3.0, or people who want to maybe start businesses in Web 3.0, or somebody who's even at the beginning of their career and now considering that suddenly this new thing has come up. So should I learn that, or should I learn the like the old technologies? So just general tips, and also the challenges that you think will come up in the future and how we can solve them. Just your thoughts
Yes,
on that.
definitely. Definitely. So the main challenges are, again, it's a new concept. So you have to familiarizing with something new is of course the challenging part. Familiarize it with, and see the new things are coming out. As I said, NFTs, say the distribution, the drops. See how that works. Knowing how it works and try to develop yourself, because if you don't know how to do that, you cannot make this kind of things in a greater scale. So start with something basic. My suggestion will be always start doing very very simple or basic thing, and then slowly make that thing big. Start with one single node and all that, maybe two nodes. You have two computers, start with two nodes, and then see how that basic thing you're working on. Then ask your friend to join and start developing from there. Because if you don't experiment enough, if you don't try enough, you may not be able to succeed with it. Someone new, I will say, before jumping in this, have some kind of normal application, or say any application development skill first, because that will be definitely help in your logic development. Because definitely something new and the requirement will be not usual one. If you have some good experience in something else, that will be a better thing here. But again, if you're a very intelligent person, if you have really good skills, you can get started immediately. Just go through any particular, say, any DApps. I will suggest going with, say, Web3 Js and either Web3 or Solidity plus the Ethereum. That's you will find a lot of examples, and that will be easy to get started with. Okay. Now, for the DevOps engineer specifically, the main challenge will be the scaling part, because it may sound very simple. I'm telling it, but in actual reality, it's not. You have to understand how the operating system works, how the deployment
Mm,
works. There should be a provision for the rollbacks and all. What are the target audience you have, or the target participant you have, how to interact with all these nodes. So these are the challenges one the engineer has to face and find a solution out. Because it's new, the solution will make have a lot of value in this entire ecosystem. And because it's new, so you might have also contract with the employers that should not be public, at least now, because that's their profit making way. If they sell out their how they're scaling and all, that might be also a problem. But there are good people who are not bound by contracts and they share the knowledge. So there is Neil Davis, and there are other people also who share very good knowledge around that, and you might find a lot of articles how they are managing it. So that will be really good.
makes sense. Understood. So that was it from my end, Sandeep. Any last remarks or comments that you have? You want to?
Yeah. So the thing is that the thing is that a lot of people actually come to me and say, "I want to start with it. Give me the resources."
Hmm.
The problem happens, I give sometimes you give the resources or the learning resources to the people, which might be very overwhelming. So what
Hmm.
should be there? Don't don't fear, don't fear, and just get started with that. Once you get started, you will see the finish line. That's most important, getting started with it. So I know, like, even when I started new technologies, say I'm learning Kafka right now. Okay. So as a DevOps engineer, I have a requirement to learn Kafka and implement something I never worked before. It's something new. I might fail. I might not know everything all at once. But if I learn that, it will be very beneficial for me. Similar way, you might not know the all this this the smart content. You don't know about the apps, anything. But the moment you get started with it, you learn it, you implement it, it becomes so easy and so better that later on you find a lot of great opportunities, high paying opportunities, not the great, high pay opportunities. And of course, we're working something exciting that no one worked before. That one mindset should be when starting with this Web3.
Got it. So thanks a lot, Sandeep, for taking out time. Thank you for your expertise and your knowledge and sharing that with everybody here. And we'll keep in touch. We'll always keep having these kind of
Definitely.
sessions. There was a lot to learn from you. Thank you, and I think we can end the session now because probably it was too heavy for some people. It's quite possible. Let them process.
No worries.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you guys want to, no worries. But if you guys want to learn more, follow Akhil. I mean, he's the guy. He shared a lot of research around this. So if you are new, if you're learning, just subscribe his channel and in the comment let us know what are the things that you don't understand or what are the content you want from Akhil. He will help out for sure. So that
exactly. And if you have any DevOps related any question in your mind or anything you want to learn, Sandeep is the person you should go and definitely check out his channel. And he has a lot of content. As in, he also shares secrets on how to get clients sometimes on his channel. And he also teaches technologies like Ansible and Terraform, Docker. So very advanced stuff. So if you want to check it out, definitely you should subscribe to his channel. So thank you, Sandeep. Thank you. I think we can, we can end this session now. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Bye. See you again.
Bye. Great. See you.